When you talk about politics, actually don't talk about politics in Kenya. Don't bother even. When it comes to things that are serious, I'll just give an example. They are really serious. Hello guys, karibuni sana, welcome back to my channel. As you have seen from the thumbnail, the title of today's vlog, today we are going to be diving into the culture shocks actually I've experienced as a Ugandan traveling to Nairobi for the first time. Nairobi, or generally East Africa, we have a lot of things in common. As soon as you travel to a particular East African country, that is when you will know that actually there are a lot of things that are completely different from where you come from. Before I dive into the vlog too, if this is the first time you're watching me, I'm Tanya. This is my first time visiting Nairobi, Kenya. It has been on my vision board for at least 2 years, and I'm really very excited that I'm here. I really appreciate all of you guys who are tuning in or turning in to support me on this journey. A lot of you guys have actually enjoyed almost every video, and I'll try my best to do a recap on all things that especially Kenyans have been, having a little bit of, double mind kind of situation on, especially from my own experience. Also, before I dive into the vlog too, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share out with friends and family so that we can continue pushing out this video. When we do that, it actually pushes the video further and further, which also helps me plan more on what to bring you from my view from Nairobi, Kenya. You guys, this brings me to the first thing that I really want to talk about. This is the hospitality of Kenyans. My God, I really can't affirm this very much. Where I come from in Uganda, I don't know if people are just tired. I don't know, but as soon as I reached the airport, this is JKI airport, I was welcomed by even police officers. Actually, these are people with guns. It is very rare to actually have a police officer smile at you in Uganda, like how I was getting all these smiles and warm welcomes at the JKI airport, guys. And this is reality. These guys are very affable, very welcoming, kind-hearted, but also very serious on different matters. And I really want to first of all explain that. So I've already told you, even at the airport, like the immigration officer, the afandis with guns, all these people were very welcoming, very hospitable. Actually, as soon as I landed, I interacted with a Kenyan who was on the same flight like myself and was in Kampala, Uganda for business, and they are traveling back home to Nairobi. Guys, the way how she welcomed me as soon as we landed, Karibuni Nairobi, Karibuni sana, welcome to Nairobi. There is much to see. Where are you staying? I hope you enjoy your stay. I hope you love it here. In case you don't understand anything, please make it a point that you ask. People will be as genuinely happy to actually receive your questions, and they will reply to you. So that was the first thing. I'm so excited. Everything is exciting.
So where are you going?
We are staying at a hotel in Nairobi, but I don't know the name of the hotel. Yeah. Just straight from landing, then going through yellow fever kind of checkpoint. The same thing, these officers were really very good, and also at the point where they have to stamp your passport. Guys, this was slightly an older man, but with very high vibes. Actually, he had some sinus kind of situation going on, but that did not stop him from putting on a smile and just being as welcome as he can. So I'm really very enthusiastic about that and happy about that Kenyans are that welcoming. Also, when it comes to restaurants, I've been to a couple of restaurants here in Nairobi, a Shaki Grill, Bamboo Cask, actually, yes, I always forget that with Nef, Bamboo Cask. All these service providers are very kind, and it is not like they are kind from a very bad perspective, but they are just kind because they look to be kind. So it is really something I really want to talk about, because where I come from in Uganda, it feels like people are very tired there, over there they have a lot of work, over what, but there is something that is not right when it comes to Kampala, Uganda, which literally shocked me a lot when it came to Nairobi. And being serious, I realized this. when you talk about politics, actually don't talk about politics in Kenya. Don't bother even. People are very serious about it. And when that conversation comes up, it actually came up on very, very many occasions while in the Uber, and you would feel their voices rising. When it comes to things that are serious, I'll just give you an example. They are really serious. The second thing I really want to talk about when it comes to my culture shocks I did experience as a Ugandan traveling to Nairobi the first time. This is the Nairobi Express Highway. Guys, I heard that Chinese built the express highway in Nairobi, but for some matter of fact I don't know, or for some factor, the express highway in Nairobi looks more cleaner, looks more slick, looks more good. I don't know if it was just infatuation, seeing it for the first time, but it really did look so good compared to what we have back in Uganda. Also, the other thing that shocked me, it is that you have to pay at the end. You don't pay at the start of the express highway. If you are familiar with Enteire Express Highway back in Kampala, Uganda, you know it very well that we pay our road at the start, at the start of the highway. That is when you're supposed to pay. But for these guys, at the end, where you are exiting through, because the driver explained it to me very well, that they have different exit points. So the point where you exit, there is a kind of a pay, kind of situation where you have to actually go in and use M-Pesa. Also, M-Pesa is going to be something for another point, but maybe the other thing that shocked me a little bit, theirs is quite expensive. They pay about 350 Kenyan shillings, which is approximately 8,000 Ugandan shillings for a small car, but back in Uganda it is 5,000 Ugandan shillings for a small car. So that was also actually a shocker. Back in Uganda, it is not as clean. If you know the Entebbe Express Highway, you know it's not as clean. Their road, much cleaner, much silkier, and I believe much better. I don't know why. But also, that was really, really a shocker to me. Then, before I leave this point, I really also want to talk about the fact that the old Kenyan road is near to the new express highway. If you are familiar with what we have back in Uganda, you know that the express highway is completely different from where the old road is. So you are imagine passing on the express highway, cruising and across the road, you can actually see the older road. And the driver was very, very meticulous in explaining this, is that in case you don't have money, you're going in that traffic jam. In case you have your 350, you're going to be going on this slick, faster kind of road. So that was also a shock out me, because when it comes to express highway, always in my mind, I always remember back home that it is completely different. Express highways, the other side, even you don't see it as often as you see it for a distance here in Nairobi when they talk about the old road and the new road. Ubers in Nairobi are clean. It feels like these guys have an assembling kind of situation, or they make cars. Let me know in the comment section, Kenyans, below. Do you guys have a car kind of manufacturer or anything like that? I kid you not, all cars we have used so far, these cars they look to be brand new cars. In that I mean, most of them inside they are clean. They rarely have broken to not working windows, and that situation back in Kampala where you enter into a car and an Uber and you can't slide up the glass up and down. From my experience, all the Ubers we use, they were really clean and on point, and it felt like we are traveling always in a brand new car. Then on top of that, they have these small cars which we don't have back in Uganda. But like they're just small cars, which I don't really know. Are they specifically for business, or it is just on a day-to-day basis that people decide to use these cars like for their general transportation? They have these small cars, which I also believe that they somehow quicken the way how you move from point A to point B. I don't know why, but maybe because also the traffic jam was literally very slow on the roads, but they just look in a particular way where they look to be very, very easy to take you from point A to point B. And it was also a shocker because back home in Kampala, we don't have such small cars. Then on top of that, before I leave this point, let me talk about M-Pesa. Guys, Kenya is living in another world. Like almost everything you have to pay or like using a particular cashless kind of service. They have M-Pesa. Back in Uganda, we have Airtel Money and Momo Pay for MTN, but it's not as common and rampant as it is here. Here, it is as easy as moving from point A to point B, then pay your Uber using M-Pesa, or actually using Sendwave, or using your card in case you have a Visa card. It is not as common like that back in Uganda, like how it is in Nairobi, I kid you not. And also, this time around, I have not registered for M-Pesa or Safari because I'm spending less time here in Nairobi. But maybe next time, because I'm planning, if everything goes well, to try to come back as easy and as fast as I can. But nevertheless, it is very, very, common and rampant. Like on the roadside, you see M-Pesa almost everywhere. M-Pesa, and it has left a tingling kind of admiration in my mind that how I wish we can do such things in Uganda, like we forget about cash and just start paying using mobile money. Like even taxi, you just pay using mobile money. I know it takes time, but these guys have done it, and I believe we can do it, especially for Ugandans watching this. The only time we did transfer money or use cash, it was the first trip from the airport, that was from JKI to Portland, where our first apartment was. And this money, I exchanged it back in Uganda. If you watched some of my older vlogs, I transferred that money to Kenyan shillings back in Uganda. And that is the only occasion I remember we have used money for all this time, like cash money for all this time. All the other things we have been using Visa cards and Sendwave, Visa card and Sendwave, which is absolutely stunning, in its own particular way. Kenyan shillings, or the bob. Guys, right now, 1 Ugandan shillings, it's about 28.31, anywhere to 28.89 Kenyan shillings in order to transfer that money. But according to me, please don't come for me in the comment section below, but according to me, the exchange rate, when you do it the right way, for Ugandan shillings, you can get quite some good money in Kenyan shillings. That is when you do it at the right way, and by that I mean when you exchange the money either back in Uganda before you move out with a sustainable or an amount which is not so much, because also carrying very, very huge amounts of money is not acceptable, I believe, by law when it comes to airports and all that. When you do it in Uganda before you travel to Nairobi, you'll get some good amount of money for Kenyan shillings. Also, when you reach Nairobi, there is a street, I think it's called Koinange Street, over near Koinange Street, I'm forgetting, but there is a street where you have a lot of forex exchanges. When I try to Google through those particular forex bureaus on that particular street, their exchange rates when it comes to Ugandan shillings are quite very, very good, and you can get good amount of money in your Ugandan shillings to Kenyan shillings. So really, really think about that. And it was a shocker to me, because I thought initially that when you see sometimes, for example, at the airport, when you would peep through and see their exchange rates, 1 Ugandan shillings would be around maybe 20 Kenyan shillings. You see that was really low, and I had vividly the picture in my mind back in Uganda. It was around 28.32, 33, and it was a shocker to me. So before you travel, make it the point that when you are converting your Kenyan shillings, you literally look into that. Also, they have a variety of notes. They have a variety of notes. They have 100. I'll try to put them on screen so that you guys can see them. Like 100 Kenyan shillings note or bob. They have the 51 Kenyan shilling note or bob. I believe they also have 20. They also have a coin that exactly looks like 1,000 Ugandan shillings. Guys, before I leave this point, guys, let me also talk about the self-dispensing drinks containers. Do you know that in Kenya, just like you have seen in movies, they have these containers where you go in and put Kenyan shillings or Kenyan bob, and it dispenses to you a drink or water. Yes, that is the absolute truth. You put in the money, it dispenses to you the water. You put in the money or the coin, it dispenses to you the soda. I've not seen that in Uganda, at least for all the amount of time I've spent in Uganda. Mind you, I'm 26, and I've been in Uganda for almost the whole of my entire life without even peeping at the border in Busia. I've never seen that. But that I saw at the airport, I saw in different kind of molly or areas or malls or places of a sort. And it was really intriguing to me to know that what these people are already living in. So you guys, how can I leave, this point without talking about Swahili? Habari, muzuri, karibuni sana. Sasa, hey, I'm picking up, and for me it is really interesting to know that Kenya has a lot of tribes. As Adeti, one of our friends we met online and was our tour guide in a couple of videos, she told us that Kenya has quite a number of tribes like Kikuyu. I think I know Kikuyu because it is what I can remember right now, but regardless of the fact they have very many like tribes and languages, that actually encompasses all that. But there is a common language which is Swahili. There is a common language which is Swahili, and it is spoken almost at the start of the airport, probably to the deep areas of Kenya or Nairobi, or not Nairobi, but deep areas of all the counties in Nairobi. Yeah.
Dhidi ya bidhaa feki na walaghai nchini.
What does that mean?
Kenyans to be protected from fake products and cons in the country.
I repeat it. Wakenya walindwe
dhidi
ya
bidhaa is
bidhaa.
against.
Okay.
Bidhaa products. Fake is direct. That's the translation. What is it called?
Fake.
Yeah.
Fake.
Na walaghai
nchini.
Na is end, walaghai cons.
Nchini.
Country.
Chini.
In the country.
And also, I think English is also quite common, because I remember if you can't speak Swahili, people would, reply to you in English, And it is really interesting also to know that as it is common in Uganda for us to speak English, it is also like a second, for us here, it is like the official kind of language. But here in Nairobi, before even you interact with anyone, Swahili is going to be like the official language. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Swahili the official language or English is the official language? Let me in the comment section below. But all people I did interact with, regardless of the fact that it is police officers, bankers, hospital, roadside, hotel, everything, the first language they speak to you in, it is literally Swahili. And I hope, or I pray, if we would adapt the same thing back in Uganda, either we get a language, either we adapt Swahili, either we adapt one of the African language. In Uganda, there is Lusoga. We adapt one of those languages, Lunyankole, and it moves throughout the whole country. That would be cool. That before even we adapt into the, the English kind of system, we already have a language we really understand. Let's talk about the next point. This is skyscrapers. Why are there so many skyscrapers and buildings in Nairobi? It is literally also a point right now that puzzles my mind so much. And they are very organized, believe it or not. They are really very organized. There is a way how they build. For example, in Portland, I can talk for Portland because that is where, I had the best experience, because that's where I first touched when it comes to experiencing Nairobi and all that. Buildings are very, very organized. They build very, very high skyscrapers. They are very organized in a way, on the sides, they are really very organized. You can see this going this. I'll try to get a couple of videos or pictures, put them on screen. But the organization is top notch. Organization is really top notch. That there is a building on this side, on the other side, on the other side, and it looks like actually they have planned for this. Let me know in the comment section below. Guys, is it intentional? Are there rules and regulations before you go in to build these skyscrapers? Because for me, it was literally mind-blowing. The skyline from a highly elevated kind of building, it is beautiful, especially at night and during morning hours when the sun is coming out. It is absolutely stunning, very, very stunning. I can't literally explain it to you guys very well. It needs you to just go and see for yourself. The skyline looks so beautiful and amazing. That is the only thing I can literally say. Amazing and beautiful, especially from those elevated buildings. Mind you, also while riding or driving from the express highway or in a road, on the sides you can literally see all these particular roads, all these not roads but skyscrapers, all these particular skyscrapers and buildings, and they look so beautiful, they look so good, which is something also that comparing that with back at home, it really baffles my mind so much indeed. Also, guys, these skyscrapers, forget about the buildings we have back in Kampala, Uganda. Their elevators work. Kabatulemu. Their elevators really work. Elevators, zikola, and also the escalators work. I tell you, in Kampala we suffer. There are these builders who build the buildings, but I kid you not. I don't know why they just cut out the elevators or the escalators, why they are conserving electricity, or about what these buildings work as they should. And I saw that here in Nairobi. The escalators work very well. From 1 to 20, you are going to go reach there by the elevator, and it's going to be working. Forget about this system of walking back in Kampala, Uganda. You are taking the stairs up. People are not going to be able to, sustain, especially people who have issues with their bones and, elderly people. So that was also really a very, very big shocker for me. You guys, that brings me to the end of today's vlog. I really wanted to compile everything in this one vlog, but I think I'll just put the rest of the points in a part 2. For now, let me meet you in my next one. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Let me know what places to actually visit here in Nairobi, Kenya, and yeah, let me meet you in my next one. Kenyan Shylock, for switching out. Bye for now.